Hello, my beautiful soul. Welcome to Spiritual Bloom, where we bloom within our consciousness with your spiritual guide and Twinflame coach Neha. Today's episode may challenge some deeply held beliefs, but it comes from a place of compassion and not judgment. So, today's topic is that are you addicted to tarot card readings, especially if you are in a Twinflame journey? Now, before we begin, let me make something very clear to you. This video is not against tarot readings or anybody who practices tarot card readings, who practices occult. Tarot has a long history as a symbolic and reflective practices, ancient practices. Many people use it for self-reflection and exploring different perspectives. During the ancient times, there were no cards, so people used to practice it through sand reading, salt reading, or painting. Then there are dice readings. So these things are not wrong. These are a part of occult practices. But the concern begins when tarot changes from being a tool for reflection into something we feel we cannot function without. In the Twinflame community, I have observed that many people begin by watching one tarot reading out of curiosity. Then it turns into another reading, then another. Eventually, they may find themselves checking multiple readings every day, hoping that one more video will finally reveal exactly when reunion will happen, or what their counterpart is thinking, or what the third party is going through. Now, at that point, the cards may no longer be serving you. Instead, you may be serving the addiction. Now, as we all know that the Twinflame journey is emotionally intense. It is intense because it involves very delicate period like separation, uncertainty about the relationship, grief, long periods without communication, and importantly, spiritual awakening. And during such stages, it is natural that a human being will seek certainty when their life feels unpredictable. And this is also the time when the twins, they're extremely vulnerable to energy, vulnerable to their environment, vulnerable to their emotions. They cannot process their emotions. They cannot accept that they are in such a hard journey, difficult journey. So our brains are wired to reduce uncertainty because uncertainty can feel stressful. It feels stressful when answers are not available. Many people begin looking outside themselves for reassurance. And this is where tarot can become specially appealing. Even if the reading is not specific to your situation, hearing hopeful messages can provide temporary emotional relief. And that relief makes you feel better. And once you start feeling better through such temporary messages or relief, your brain, your heart starts asking for more. That's why from watching a tarot card reading in a day, you'll be watching 2. In the next 6 months, you're addicted to it. Now, this does not mean that the reading is true or false. It means that our nervous system is seeking comfort during a difficult period because you're extremely vulnerable during those stages. So you seek comfort elsewhere. And that comfort is by getting hopeful messages from the videos or personal tarot reading sessions. Now, addiction in this case rarely starts with harmful intentions. It begins with relief, like I told you. Because you are in a vulnerable state, you try to seek emotional relief. Imagine someone watches tarot reading after a painful breakup. For 10 minutes, their anxiety decreases, their hope returns, they feel calm, and the brain remembers this experience. So, the next time, again, when anxiety returns, the mind says that let's watch another reading. Soon, this can become a cycle. The cycle of pain, then seeking relief to tarot readings, then finding relief, then more uncertainty, and again back to more readings, temporary comfort, and it keeps on repeating. Now, this pattern can happen with many activities in our life, and it's not just limited to tarot readings. The issue is not the card themselves. The issue is becoming dependent on repeated reassurance instead of gradually building inner stability. Now, when does tarot stops being a tool? Now you have to ask yourself some questions honestly. Do you really watch readings because you are curious, or because you feel anxious if you don't watch them? You have to ask yourself that, can you go a week without checking for messages about your twin flame journey, about your counterpart? Do you ignore your intuition because a reader said something different? Or do you spend hours searching for readings until one tells you what you want to hear? If these patterns sound familiar, it may be worth reflecting on whether tarot has shifted from guidance to dependency and addiction. Now, one of the common pattern, what the psychologists confirm, is called the confirmation bias. Now, what is confirmation bias? When we're emotionally invested in an outcome, we naturally notice information that supports what we hope is true and overlook information that doesn't. For example, you watch 10 readings in a day. Okay? The 8th reading says that focus on yourself, build your stability, and do inner work. Whereas the second reading says that union is tomorrow, or maybe in a month, or maybe in next 6 months. Which one are you most likely to remember? It is obvious that you'll remember the reading number 2 because it gives you hope. It matches your deepest hope. Now, this isn't because you're weak. It's because our mind have been built up in such a way that often when we seek information, that reduces emotional discomfort. Now, it's very important in such situations to recognize this tendency. And to recognize this tendency, we need to approach any spiritual guidance, but with awareness. Now, sometimes the tarot becomes a way of avoiding difficult emotions also. Instead of exploring the childhood wounds, doing the healing work, we search for another prediction. Instead of building our own life, we consume another reading. Spiritual practices are most helpful when they support healing, but they are not helpful when they replace your healing. You should use tarot practices, tarot card readings as a support for your healing and not become dependent on it. Because the deepest transformation often comes from doing the inner work that no prediction can do for us. No matter how many readings you watch in a day or take a personal guidance from someone, if your inner work is weak, you will never reach your goal. You will never reach your soul purpose. Now, what is the cost of being addicted, of being dependent on such readings? Excessive reliance on external validation can really have consequences. Because in such situations, people, they stop enjoying the present moment. Some they will delay their personal goals or neglect relationships that are around them. The cost of dependency and addiction also empties your pocket. You spend large amount of money on repeated readings. Especially nowadays it has become a business. People who don't know how to do the readings, they are online. They are everywhere. So this dependency is dangerous. Sometimes some people they feel anxious if they miss daily tarot updates. Their world slowly becomes centered around predictions. Ironically, the twin flame journey is often described as a path towards greater self-awareness and inner wholeness. If every answer must come from outside yourself, you may miss the opportunity to strengthen your own inner guidance and strengthen your own intuitions. Your intuition starts becoming weak when you seek validation from outside, when you seek predictions from outside. Now, in this episode, I'm not here to tell you that you have to completely abandon tarot readings, but it can be used in a healthier way. Instead of seeking certainty, use the card as prompts for reflection. Reflection as to where you are going in this journey. How much more work is required? What are you supposed to do in order to ascend? And you might also choose to limit how often you watch readings. Pause if you notice that your anxiety is increasing. The goal is not to replace one dependency with another, but to cultivate a broader foundation for well-being. You should never depend on anything. Let it be tarot readings, let it be any kind of addictions, let it be any kind of relationships. Dependency is a very dangerous thing. This journey teaches you to be independent, mentally, physically, emotionally. And being dependent on any kind of substance or readings is simply escaping your inner growth, your inner work and healing. Now many people say that they want stronger intuition, yet they never give themselves the chance to listen to it. Imagine asking 10 different people for directions before checking the map in your own hands. You have the Google map, yet you are asking 10 different people. You know where you have to go, you know the destination, you also know the route, you also know which vehicle to take, which bus or train to take, yet you are asking 10 different people. Eventually, every voice outside becomes louder than the quiet wisdom inside. That is your intuition. Whether or not you use tarot, developing self-awareness takes practice, and you can strengthen it through reflection, mindfulness, journaling, and paying attention to your own values and experiences. Inner guidance grows through consistent practice, not through constant checking and addictions. Now, before I end this episode, I would like to bring to notice about this tarot readings, which has a very different perspective when we take it towards the religious side. In many religions, Christianity, Islam, I have seen people burning down the tarot readings. I'm nobody to talk about it. Please don't get offended. I'm not against tarot readings. They say that, it's against our religion, or you should not depend on these things. I agree to them, but I have my own views on this. I'm just sharing with you my views. I think that through the religious perspective, calling tarot readings as dependency or evil is not wrong. I will not say it's evil, but then any kind of dependency is evil. The readings are not evil, but the addiction is evil. It's like the evil is intentionally keeping you tied up to something and not letting you grow, not letting you believe in your intuitions. Because your soul is extremely pure, it is connected to divine. And when you depend on external things, it means that you don't believe in your soul, you don't believe in your intuitions. Not just that, I personally believe that anything in this world cannot be predicted. The universe, the divine, and the Almighty, let it be from any religion. No matter which religion you practice, there is a divine source. They have the supreme power of knowing that what is going to happen next in our lives. Whether we'll come into union, whether somebody is going to die tomorrow, whether this person will be blessed with a girl or a boy child. They know it better. So when you use such instruments and completely depend on it for support, it means that you don't believe in your soul, you don't believe in your intuitions, and most importantly, you don't believe in the higher source. Now again I'm repeating it, I'm not against anybody who practices occult, does readings. It is a part of occult, it is a part of spirituality. But it is the duty and responsibility of those tarot readers to guide people and not to make it a business, charge them too much, because by doing that they are earning bad karma. And it is also the duty of the other person seeking such support and guidance to know their limits and control. That if you are seeking guidance, if you are watching a reading, keep it limited. The devil wants you to be tied up and be dependent not just on readings. Addictions are not just substance sometimes. Addictions are these. Addictions are not just addictions to substance. Sometimes addictions comes in the form of being dependent for guidance, being dependent on relationships, being dependent on money, being dependent on anything that is external, but not depending on your own intuition, your soul, and the higher powers that is guiding us. So the twin flame journey, however you understand it, is not meant to become a prison of endless waiting. It is meant to inspire growth. But no deck of cards can live your life for you, and no reader can do your healing for you. No predictions can replace your own choices. Perhaps the greatest message is not hidden in a card. It is revealed through the courage to face yourself with honesty, compassion, and patience. The inner relationship is one that no separation can take away. If today's episode helped you reflect on your behavior patterns in this journey, on your dependency upon readings, do like, share, subscribe. For any kind of guidance, you can WhatsApp or email me. My contact details have been given in the description box and mentioned in the video. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again in another episode.